Bring out Elizabeth Selwyn.
The tortured souls cried out in agony as the flames mounted higher and higher. Burn, witch, burn, witch, burn, burn, burn. Those I've said is known today the actual practice of witchcraft in 17th century New England. Superstition.
Okay, and we are recording.
Oh, Billy.
All right. Well, welcome back. Cinema Slaughter 2021.
In the house.
In the house. It's been, I guess, a few weeks, almost 3 weeks. Can you believe that? Since we recorded our last episode, which was the Christmas episode with Rob from Terra at Sintai. Which, by the way, I always love when we get together with Rob. He's always fun and interesting to talk to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Definitely look forward to doing more shows with him. He's a pretty entertaining character. He's a good guy.
To say the least.
He's good people. He's good people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Omar.
Thank you, Lenny. Welcome back yourself.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. It's been a hell of a long time. At least it feels like it. I mean, I can't believe Christmas came and went. New Year's, it's
came and went.
2021. It doesn't feel like anything has changed, and yet there's a lot of stuff going down. We're not going to get into any politics of the day. That's not who we are here. But suffice to say, shit has been hitting the fan, and all the more reason to talk about horror movies and movies in general. And, something that just came back from, I guess, a hiatus, and I've been talking about this for a while. I am a fan of The Expanse. And The Expanse was a show that launched on Sci-Fi years ago. And I guess it was too expensive for them and they couldn't handle it. And Amazon Prime picked up The Expanse. And if you guys are a fan of sci-fi shows, and this is hard science fiction, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. And they just do sci-fi correctly. It's a realistic view of the future and humanity spreading out in our solar system. They colonized Mars and the belt, which the belt is obviously, the asteroid belt.
The Kuiper belt, I think, isn't that it?
Yeah.
Or something, yeah.
So humanity is, stretched its legs throughout the solar system. And then we find an alien technology in what they call the proto-molecule. And this proto-molecule can remake, it's almost like the Genesis device. It can remake worlds. It can infect human beings with, with this alien technology. Eventually, they spread out across the galaxy with these rings that allow mass travel to far reaches of the universe. This new season launched, and it's just freaking awesome. And I can't tell you enough good things about it. And I just keep raving. I hope one day, Omar, you begin to watch this. I know you said you started, and it's a slow burn, especially in the beginning. The first few episodes are really, they take their time explaining what's happening and introducing the different factions, Terra or Earth. And then there's a animosity with Mars and the belt because the Earth is home to humanity, obviously, but Mars is very militaristic, and the belt is kind of the human beings that reside in the belt are looked at as second-class citizens, and they mine for resources. And those resources are companies that are owned on Earth or by Terran companies, and so they feel, the Belters feel like they don't have a voice in politics, and they're disenfranchised. And obviously, terrorism is a big problem that's that's growing. There's a growing animosity and unease with regards to these different factions in throughout our solar system, and it's extremely well done. The novels. I started watching the show when it first came out, and the first two episodes had me hooked to the point where I went out and bought the novels, and the I guess I got through the first five books in the series, so now I have to keep going. But I just yeah, I know it's not necessarily horror. There are horror like elements in throughout the show, but it's more like Game of Thrones meets Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's the best way for me to describe it to anyone who's asked me. And so, if you're interested in that type of political intrigue and other things of that type mixed with hard science fiction, there are futurists that probably, it feels real. It feels like this is a livable universe, that it doesn't look like Star Wars, and they use real science to explain the ships flying in from one planet to another and things of that nature. But it's I can go on and on about it. It just really looks and feels like
Legit
this.
sci-fi. Like there
Yeah.
was a lot of research done. I know there's a lot of videos where they talk about the different spaceships and stuff, and how it works. Where like your typical Star Wars, what do you call Battlestar Galacticas, to have these fighter jet type, like you're basically just taking what we have on Earth and just transporting it to outer space. But in outer space, in a real life, what scientists project, or technologists project is going to be totally different. When you're
Yeah,
not going to have these fighter jets flying around in outer space, it's a different type of warfare.
absolutely. Yeah, so check it out if you have Amazon Prime, or you want to try and locate it there. Please do so. And definitely, Omar, I can't force your hand enough. Like, you got to dig into it and let it get past that. I mean, the acting, the special effects, everything about the show is top notch. So check it out.
Chicken.
Yeah. So we are back, and in this episode, we're going to talk about some a mashup too. This has got a little bit of science fiction as well as horror elements, and the director himself of this comes from horror royalty. And for those of you who aren't familiar, the movie that we're discussing today is called Possessor, and it was written and directed by Brandon Cronenberg, who well, I I'm sure the name itself, the last name will throw up movies like Videodrome, The Fly. I'm trying to think, Scanners.
Mm-hmm. The
There's
Brood.
Yeah, so David Cronenberg is obviously Brandon's father. David Cronenberg has had a huge influence, um, on the horror genre. He's even done some acting roles, and is actually pretty good and creepy in. He plays the psychiatrist in Nightbreed. Were you familiar with that?
I didn't know that. No,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
So yeah, you should check out
interesting.
Nightbreed again too, because I saw that again
Mm.
recently, and yeah, man, it's
I heard it
definitely.
hasn't. I heard it hasn't aged well.
Oh, I like it. I still
Yeah.
like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was definitely solid. But yeah, so he's that an interesting thing about Cronenberg is that all of the movies that he's made were all made in Canada. And I didn't
Mm.
realize that until recently. Um, I watched one of his older films. Which one was it? Shivers. And there was a documentary on the disc, and they were talking about, since it was one of his first real movies that he made, and yeah, and they were talking about it, how Shivers was made in Canada, and then they started discussing how every single movie that he's made, he's done so outside of the the Los Angeles or Hollywood studio. He's stuck to his guns and stayed in Canada. But he's done so many great movies: Rabid, The Brood, Videodrome, The Dead Zone, which I just watched recently.
Oh,
Trying to
with
think.
Walken.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that was Cronenberg.
yep. Dead
Ah.
Ringers, Naked Lunch, Existence,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Eastern Promises, obviously The Fly. I mean, we
Mm,
can go on and on, but he has, um, I guess, influenced his son to kind of take up the mantle of director himself, and so it's a very interesting take on the body horror genre that his father has created and fostered throughout his career. And so in case anyone hasn't seen this, it's an alternate 2008. Tasia Voss is an assassin, excuse me, who takes control of others' bodies to carry out her hits. So they have an implant they installed in the host's brain, and she can use a special machine to insert her consciousness into this person's mind. And she works for a secret organization that uses this brain implant to inhabit those bodies and drives that person to commit assassinations for their paying clients. So
yeah,
that's the premise. It's not a perfect movie. And what I really liked about this film, we'll talk about that first. What I really liked about it was that it had this sense of unease throughout the entire film.
yes.
It was unsettling. You never know what to expect when you're dealing with what it starts off too, where she's I guess in medias res, where she is already possessed this body, and she's in assassin mode, and you don't really know what's happening. And then out of the blue, she just walks over to the person that she's about to assassinate, and you still have no idea what's about to happen. And then she starts stabbing this guy repeatedly, and the violence in this film is really
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah,
is extremely violent, and some of it is disturbing. Um, but and at that moment, after she assassinates this guy, who later you find out, I guess, was a CEO or of a company or whatever, she you see she takes a pistol and puts it into her mouth, and she's like, all right, take me out, or pull me out of it. And you're almost like, what the hell is she talking about? And she has trouble pulling the trigger, like she can't kill herself,
mm,
and so she opts to do suicide by cop. And the cops come in there, she holds the pistol out, and the cops kill her, and she at that point comes out of this person's body that she was inhabiting. um Andrea Riseborough, I think that's the person's name. She's Tasia Voss, the assassin. She and Jennifer Jason Leigh is in this movie too. She is a very
mm.
always a
Plays a
great
key
actress.
role.
Yeah, she does. I think
Yeah,
she plays the
yeah.
the the person who actually helped develop the program, and she's kind of the person who's running
like a
the
director,
show.
kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, she's running the show. She's trying to, Tasia Voss is the head assassin for this organization, and no one else has been able to do what she has done. But as we soon find out, slowly over time, the process of inhabiting another person's body, the way she's doing it, is taking its toll.
Yes. And
So,
you find out her background.
yeah.
Uh,
So,
she's the assassin. She's got a husband and a son, and the director, what's her name's character, is kind of unhappy. She won't take a free agent that's unattached to any family.
mm-hmm.
And then this plays out. I don't know if we should discuss spoilers, but the ending, wow, unexpected, but it's dark as hell. Like is a dark ending, man. Like this was, I was, like he said, it was flawed. I actually, yeah, maybe a little here and there, but overall, I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed this movie.
What I would have
dark.
liked, it is dark, and it goes to a place that was unexpected. What I would have liked to have seen more of would have been more of a development of her relationship with her husband, who was
with her family, right?
With the family,
yeah.
And because we know that
I could see that. Yeah,
they're separated and estranged, and obviously, from what we see, what we've given the small snippets, the estrangement, in my opinion, has come from her work and what was going on, because when I'm watching this movie, the line running in my head is, "Do not stare into the abyss for too long, for the abyss also stares into you." And that and that's really what got to me, and it is what was happening with her in this situation where she's now estranged. She's like, "Oh, I want to go back home," and Jennifer Jason Leigh's like, "Well, you remember that you and Michael, you guys are separated, right?" And then it clicks in her mind. And just to back up for a moment, when she's finished with the assassination, her consciousness comes back into her physical body. And at that point, she has to meet with Jennifer Jason Leigh, and they do a debrief. And it's almost like she's got they have to meet, and they go over these items. They take out of a box a pipe, and other little keepsakes, and trinkets. And she has to, Tasia Voss, the assassin, has to look at these objects and say, "Oh yeah, I remember this is mine, and this was my grandfather's pipe. My father gave this to me when he died. He died before I was born, or what have you, and so my father gave this to me as a keepsake." And then she's seeing these different pieces of memorabilia that hold value for her, and so it's kind of connecting her with her conscious or unconscious mind. And so it's a way for her to reassert control over her own psyche and kind of remove herself entirely from the person who's, the host person that she was inhabiting, which I really enjoyed. I thought that was a very cool thing to do, to kind of, talk a person back into their own physical form. Which was interesting. But then she's like, "Oh, I want to, go home and take some time off and be with Michael." And then, she's like, "Oh, you guys are estranged."
And the funny thing is that as she's about to go meet her her husband and her son again.
I was just going to talk about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. She's sitting there and basically acting out what would seem to be a natural reaction to, a mother and a wife, meeting her, family again for after being absent for a long time, and
Right.
it's almost like she's going into into acting into this character. Is she really this person? So the movie really plays around the whole idea of identity and and
Yes.
who a person really is. And
Mhm.
and so it kind of makes you wonder when she's looking at these these items of oh, this is my grandfather's pipe, or this is my father's whatever. Is it really, or did they just create this to give her a sense of identity? What is she? Who is she?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And her memories tied to these objects really are death surrounds her.
Mm.
Her grandfather died before she was born. One of the other items was a little box with a butterfly pinned onto the inside, and it was a beautiful butterfly. And she says, "Oh, I made this." And I killed it myself and put it into this box, and I regretted it. As soon as I did it, I regretted it, and I still regret it. So you can hear that in her voice that obviously the she has killed before, even a beautiful butterfly that she had pinned into this little box to as a keepsake or memento. Death has taken its toll on her, and it's something that she's familiar with, and we're going to see that this is going to come back to haunt her as the story progresses. And I really enjoyed how Cronenberg set the stage for that, because it's very subtle. And like you said, she goes to her husband's house with her son is in there, and before she goes into the house, she's having that conversation with herself. She's kind of, oh, oh, that's great. Oh, yeah, honey. Oh, that's wonderful. Or dinner? Yes, I'm starving. Oh no. Oh, dinner? Oh, yeah, I'm starving. And she's like
It's almost like
repeating.
an actor, exactly, an actor just
Yeah.
repeating lines from to prepare for some kind of show, or some kind of acting, and it's really interesting, really
Yeah.
interesting.
And so she tells her boss, I'm Jennifer Jason Leigh, I'm going to spend some time with Michael and my son, blah blah blah. And she goes home, and they have dinner, and they're talking, and they're trying to catch up. She's talking to her son. She makes love to her husband that night, and as soon as they're finished, and you could tell that she's just disconnected from
Everything.
just dispassionate. They're making love, and she's just staring off into the ceiling, like just looking through the ceiling. There's no connection or humanity left in her.
Right.
And I think at that point, after they finish having sex, the next scene is her, she with the cell phone, she calls her boss, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and says, "Okay, I just wanted to let you know that I think I'm ready for the next job." And I'm
Right.
like, "Holy shit!" Like, you were just talking about, spending time with your family and breaking away from the monotony of a job, and she's ready to go right back in. Like, she realizes that I can't handle real life. I can't handle being with family or being a human being. Like, she just needs to go back into a next host and assassinate the next victim. And
Yep.
yeah, yeah, it was
And then this
good.
it gets crazy, where basically I think the movie does a really good job with her next job. Basically, she takes over this guy who's kind of a low level employee for some corporation. They do some crazy thing which I didn't even really understand, but for me it seemed irrelevant. but his
Yeah.
job was to go in there and kill the CEO, played by was it Sean Bean?
Yeah.
And his the character, and his daughter basically, who plays this vessel character's girlfriend, who's the daughter of Sean Bean, the CEO's character.
Right.
And it kind of the film does a good job of, because now you have to split the character up. You have to you're paying attention to this assassin, and you're also paying attention to the body that she's taking over, and then there's a conflict going on inside. So it just gets really crazy, and like we said, it gets really really violent. Like when the assassination comes, it is brutal.
He goes to town on Sean Bean with that fireplace poker.
Ooh. Oh,
So
man.
Tasia Voss, this assassin, possesses this guy, and not only does he kill his girlfriend's father, Sean Bean, who was the target, but then he kills the daughter, Sean Bean's daughter, which is the host that she's inhabiting. It's her, it's the host's girlfriend.
Exactly.
So it seems a little convoluted. So he kills Sean Bean, and it's really brutal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, almost to the point, I'm like, oh my God, like I just like it's so excessive. And then and you can understand why Sean Bean's character was a real asshole to him. He was very rude and insulting, just to be
condescending.
rude.
Yeah.
And so like he gave him a job, and he's like, oh, go, fuck off to a corner somewhere and get away from me. Like he kicks him when he's down, especially in front of a whole crowd of this, in this cocktail party. Anyway, after he kills him, the daughter comes downstairs because she hears the commotion, and he has a pistol, and he kills this guy's girlfriend, whom he loves beyond measure. I mean, he's in love with this woman. And so I think that is what breaks the tie. She's possessing, obviously Possessor. She's possessing the body of this guy, and at that moment loses control. After she shoots and kills the girlfriend, she loses control of the host body, and her mind gets subsumed by the host. And so he takes control of his body, and he realizes what the hell's going on. Like he escapes, and he runs out and goes to a friend's house. And you realize it was probably a love interest that he had before he started dating this other girl. And she still has feelings for her, but he is not in control fully. And then, so the next third of the film is about, how Tasia is vying for control of this body.
And you kind of get an internal view, like they're images that are, to symbolize the conflict going on in this body of these two consciousnesses, basically, battling out. They melt into each other, and and you see them ripping apart. Like it's crazy. It's a crazy movie.
I know in the past we don't necessarily have a problem with spoilers, but I think in this one, I don't want to give it away, because like I said, right, the brutality of it. But let's just say that Tasia Voss at the end of this movie, when she gains control again, it's jaw dropping.
It is,
because you realize that she really has lost every shred of her humanity. I mean, of
her identity, of everything.
Yeah, she commits a crime or does the things that she does. At that point, it's no longer, she's in full control of what happens next. And I was just floored. Like I said, it's a little slow at parts. I wish they would have spent a little bit more time building up the relationship with the husband and the son,
Right.
or maybe
Right.
delve into a little bit deeper into her past,
Mm.
and how she got into the program and why she was picked to do this. Um, some of it, and I've explained, we talked about this too. We don't want to overly explain everything. You don't want to just give everything away, but just a little bit
A
of an
little bit.
understanding.
Right, a little bit more also to build the relationship
Yeah.
yeah, with the family. I think was could have been necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, man, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was. Yeah. If you want to see a film that is cringeworthy, that's going to make you like, oh man, like when she takes out that fireplace poker is really like that did it for me. Like I was like, holy shit, this movie is, all bets are off in this film. I mean, they go in on this, and yeah, so there's a lot of tension. There's like I said, there's a general atmosphere um of
Dread.
of dread, of uncertainty. There's this is a decent film. This really is, and I'd like to see more
Definitely.
movies.
Yeah, it carries. I think the director carries on the tradition of his father very well.
Oh yeah,
Going into this very dark, technological, kind of combining horror and science fiction. But it's not straight horror, but
yeah,
the events are so horrific. It's that it definitely is definitely horror adjacent, very violent, but it's not. It's violent used in a very intelligent way. It's not a stupid movie. It's
no,
very
not at
very
all.
intelligent. Not yeah, exactly. So with that being said, how many fire pokers are you gonna give it? Fireplace pokers.
Man, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 fireplace pokers. I enjoyed this movie.
I think I'm gonna give it 4.5, 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Nice,
Very, very
cool.
good movie. Dark as hell.
It is.
Again, I don't like, unless it's a slasher film, I don't like violence being used just willy-nilly. No, this was focused, it was intelligent, there was purpose.
Yeah,
And I'm generally not that much into, seeing on-screen violence like extreme, but this was done again for a purpose.
yeah.
And it did a really good job.
Yeah, because there's no way you can live a life doing the things that you're doing, morally reprehensible things. You're killing people for profit. Um,
Mm,
and we don't really get a sense of who the company is that she works for,
mm,
or why these people are targeted. But with Sean Bean's character, you could see he's a man of industry. He's super wealthy and powerful, and perhaps his company is developing something that's in direct um in
yeah, I
direct
don't know.
contrast.
Right. I don't know if it was a competition or I don't even like. I'm under the impression that the company that she works for is kind of maybe subcontracted by the government, like they're assassins, so there's something there, and that
Right.
Sean Bean's a company also something that they wanted to acquire, and because he's dealing in some kind of very advanced technology.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's
There's a
something
lot
there.
of there's a lot of gray area, which I do appreciate in this because
Exactly,
it even
exactly.
adds to the moral conundrum
Right.
that's going on right now. And that's, you lose yourself, you lose your sense of self when you engage in these morally reprehensible um, you know, these choices that she makes. And it comes to the point where it's going to destroy her and everything she's come to cherish. And to the point where at the end she no longer cherishes those things either. So it completely pulls you into it. This movie pulls you in. It's definitely unusual. It takes you to a realm that's, they're using a flip phone, but yet they have this odd technology because it's set like 10 years ago. So I just like the look and feel of the technology too, and it's like this long cone that sits over her
Right.
head, and it's not necessarily biomechanical, but
Mm.
it does lend itself to
Yeah,
um
it kind of resembles something, like it's got organic elements, but it doesn't. It is all machine, but
yeah,
by its shape alone, it kind of feels like it could, it mimics biology, sort of,
yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
very
So
artistic.
yeah, solid movie. I'm looking forward to seeing some other movies by him. And just to let you know, there's a movie called Antiviral. Have you ever heard of that one?
I've heard of it. Yes.
So, in a blackly satirical near future, a thriving industry sells celebrity illnesses to their obsessed fans. Employee Sid March's attempt to exploit the system backfire when they involve him in a potentially deadly mystery. So that's
Mm,
antiviral, and that sounds really cool. I mean, and
mm,
and completely strange. Um, yeah, I like the idea of it, and so I got to check that out. We should probably watch that, see if we want
yeah,
to review that one too.
definitely, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and there's I've been watching a bunch of other stuff, but it's been more along the lines of TV shows instead of movies, and so I know we've kind of been catching up with Sweet Home, which is a South Korean um, Netflix show, and we talk about how it has moments of really decent fun, but it's so uneven. So you guys
Mm,
might be interested in this. There's monsters, although there's not enough monsters, in my opinion, and there's not enough. I mean, there's a little bit of drama and strangeness throughout, but it's kind of a hit or miss show from episode to episode, and the cartoonish or video game like quality of the monsters is a little off-putting. It kind of pulls me out of the drama of the show. But
I, I only watched 2 episodes. I could definitely appreciate, like I told you before, the unpredictability. Like
yeah,
you really don't know what's going to happen. Like it's just so bizarre. So that I could definitely appreciate. I think the video game quality, I think that was done on purpose. So it's kind of like, for anyone who doesn't appreciate it, I could see where there could be kind of because at times it looks cheap. It
it
looks, yeah,
it looks very cheap, and that's the
yeah,
unfortunate thing when it comes to CGI. If they would have spent a little bit of time or budget and maybe use some physical um,
practical, yeah,
practical effects in conjunction with the CGI, that might have elevated the effects a little bit. But for me, it pulls me out of it, and
right.
it just and another thing that I feel is heavy-handed about it is, yeah, I understand if you are exposed to monsters and you see these creatures for the first time, you may be in shock, but every single person, every single time is completely in
Just
shock.
stands there. Yeah, there's no running. There's no retreat.
One of these creatures shoots a pseudopod with, at the end of it, it's got this stinger.
Barbs. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
got a barb on it and a mouth like that, and it shoots it out, and it's like it literally inches from this
Inches.
person's
Yeah.
face, and you're just standing there dumbfounded. This thing is in your face. You just witnessed it kill somebody else. but and this happens again and again and again. Like they're just stupefied at every turn.
Right.
There's no sense of self-preservation, or they through their inaction again and again, people are being killed. It's like a few characters take initiative and do what they need to do, but it happens so frequently in this show that it just annoys the hell out of me.
Right. That's yeah, the thing is you have to have your characters react in realistic ways, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Even if the realistic way is just for them to scream, and try and like back away or run away. I mean, just have them react in different ways. Not that they're constantly just, like I said, stupefied. It became, and even at that point, Anita's like, not everyone's gonna go take action, Lenny. You can't. I'm like, I understand, but everyone just stares there.
Especially if there's something right in your face, like you're gonna
Exactly.
back away, you're gonna crawl away backwards,
Right.
you're trying to make some distance between you and the thing because it's terrifying. It's in your face. Of
Yeah.
course, you got to retreat. Fight or flight. You don't just stand there.
Well, apparently, when you're in South Korea, you just stand there. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so Sweet Home, check it out. It's on Netflix. Hit or miss, but there's some fun parts to this movie. It's not all frustrating. There's a lot of action in it. There's a lot to it. I'm 7 episodes in. I think I have 2 episodes left, somewhere around there. Maybe
Oh, I thought you finished it.
I
Yeah,
didn't finish it yet. No, I have 2 episodes left. I think 7 and 8. I think it's an 8-part series.
but you
Um,
finished Alice in Borderland.
that's the next one I was going to talk about. Yeah, so people should check out this next one too, which had a really different flavor to it. It's a horror, sci-fi, action. Um, these people. This takes place in Tokyo, and 3 friends are pulled out of our reality, and they're thrust into an alternate Tokyo where people have to play these violent games to try and survive. And you're given a visa if you make it through the contest, where you get like a 2 or 3 day worth of breathing room where you don't have to, jump into another game. But if you don't, a laser comes down from the heavens and blasts you right through your head and kills you. So you have no other choice. You have to participate. It just, and there's an omnipotence, and omniscience to whomever is in control. And so they know everything that's going on. But it's, and there's different types of contests. There's a hearts game, and they, at the beginning of each game, they give you these cards, playing cards. So there's a hearts game, there's a spades game, and this and that. So there's different types of games. One of them is a puzzle game, and they have to kind of figure out the puzzle of being in this building and going from room to room and picking these different doors in order to get out of the building and survive. So it was a very cool, very interesting premise. I really enjoyed it. I found it to be entertaining, and the show slowly develops where, no one's safe. Main characters, boss characters, nobody's safe in this game. So yeah, it was a pretty cool show. It's called Alice in Borderland. It sets it up for another season, believe it or not. So there may be season 2 with this, but it was actually really very interesting, and fun, and like I said, I mean, there's, the violence ensues throughout each episode, and there's a lot of different things they have to contend with, even coming to blows with friends, where it's a free-for-all and you have no choice, and they pit, friend against friend, family member against family member. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty interesting take on the tried genre, something we've seen before in like battle royale or Hunger Games and stuff like that, where people are thrust into an arena and they have to kill each other for sport. This had a little bit of a twist to it, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, check that out. Have you seen any of those episodes yet, or no?
Only the pilot. Only the
Oh,
pilot.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of shit goes down by episode 3. Yeah, it throws a monkey wrench in their plans. So I don't want to give it away because you haven't seen it yet. I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, you should definitely finish checking that out. It was good. It was good.
All right. Cool
So now
beans.
we're watching what else now the guilty pleasure of the day is Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
on what am I episode? I just finished episode 5 last night, or
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
you're ahead of me on that one.
Yeah, oh yeah. That show is it's just I was just talking to my brother and his friend. We were talking about that. It's just so much cheesy fun. I love it, man. It's just yeah, it's like the writing is like all heavy-handed and the scenarios. I mean, who uses karate anymore? But it's so entertaining, man. I just love it. You know, I'm a big 80s fanatic, so
Absolutely.
how can you not enjoy that show? I love it, man. So much
Some
fun.
of my favorite scenes are when Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso team up.
Yes.
I love that because it's like they almost connect with friendship. They almost get there,
Right. And
but
then,
they just can't get past their own hatred for each other. They're just two different people. They're never going to be friends, but when they get together, like
right.
in one of the episodes where they're chasing after a guy because they're trying to find Johnny's son, who's hiding out because he kicked what's his name off of the balcony, and the kid's in a coma now.
Yeah.
So they're chasing after him. They're trying to find him to bring him. They have to bring him in, but they want to help him. And they go into a chop shop of sorts, and they realize like these guys are gonna, they're gonna kick the
Jack
crap
them
out
up.
of them.
Yeah.
And then Johnny and Daniel have to kick some ass, and it's not really very believable. Like I never buy into like I believe Johnny, that character, William Zapka, I think that's his
That guy.
name.
Yeah.
I believe that he could kick some ass, but when I see the
Machio.
actor, yeah, Ralph Macchio, I just don't believe that he's gonna kick ass. I just don't. But they do their best to play it off like like the
And
action.
then they start fighting each other. It's great.
I know, because it's like it's such a cartoon. It's a cartoon, which is really what it is.
It is.
The kids in this show make it so much fun.
Yes.
And you realize like they're the sins of the fathers are passed down to them, and the sins of the sensei are passed down to them. And even Kreese, when you see the backstory for John Kreese, you're like,
Yes.
oh man, like you get his frustration, and you understand why he developed the Cobra Kai sensibilities, because he was bullied like most people get bullied at one point in time or another,
Right.
and it's the the comeuppance, like you want to take control and bring the hurt to the people who bullied you, and I get that sentimentality, but at the same point in time it just adds for a lot of drama and over the top cheesy fun. And that's really what
Yes.
this isn't written great. I mean, it's not the most realistic scenarios. There's
Not
a
by
lot
a
of
long shot.
no, not by a long shot, but it's so bad it's great.
It
And
is.
that's how I look at it. I love
And
this show.
It is. It's so. I honestly, if they go on for a couple of more seasons, I'd love it. I hope that they continue with this track, like that they don't take themselves too seriously. That
Yeah.
that they don't try to throw in anything else. Like it's just, go ahead, continue it. It's a lot of fun. It's escapism.
Yeah,
Daniel's trying to figure out a problem, whatever. He goes to, Japan, then he goes to Okinawa, and then solutions are found within an episode. It's just fantastic.
I love it.
Exactly. I love that 80s sensibility. It's just fun. They're not trying to do anything too new or crazy. Just, if they continue with seasons, keep it up. Don't change the formula. It's fantastic.
I agree. And you know what I really like about it is that
Uh-huh.
there's no problems too big that you cannot solve with your fists. or a roundhouse kick. Like these kids are going at it.
Right.
I mean, anyone gets punched or kicked in the face, you're going down. These kids come back for more, and the massive fight in the school at the end of season 2 was fucking awesome, and I loved it. It was kick ass. I mean, there's so much goodness,
Yeah.
old school karate fun. I'm gonna keep watching. I'm all in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll probably watch maybe one or two more today. It's just
Oh
great.
yeah.
Oh,
I know.
absolutely.
Well, I'm
So much
watching it with my son Sebastian, and so he's like, "Oh, don't watch any episodes without me." And then last night, I was like, "Oh, let's watch another episode." He's like, "Oh, go ahead, you can watch another episode without me. I'm gonna go to bed." I'm like, "I'm not watching episodes without you." I was like, "I'm waiting. Tomorrow we're gonna catch another episode." So I'm waiting for him to come home from
these
work.
these are 80s family values, man. You can't.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's a
So
blast.
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some more of those. So we'll talk about it. We got a bunch of other episodes coming up with some more horror movies. We're gonna have a blowout of specific directors that I don't want to reveal yet, and we're gonna talk about their oeuvre. Is that how you
Ooh,
pronounce it? Their
is it?
oeuvre.
I don't know. I don't know. It sounds good though.
Oh, okay.
Say one more time, Lenny.
So we're gonna have a bunch of movies that we're gonna be able to. I have a friend of mine who is in another podcast that she and I were talking about, maybe getting her into this one, and I haven't even broken the news to you yet, but I will offline and we'll talk about that. We have a couple of other guest spots, and obviously Rob from Terra at Sentai is always a a continued guest, and we have
A
a couple
welcome.
others. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely,
So
man.
we'll have some
Me.
interviews.
I'm always open to bringing in people. We welcome all. We welcome
Yeah,
one. We welcome all.
definitely. So we have some more horror films and sci-fi movies to discuss, and we will definitely be back. And we appreciate you guys, and thanks for your comments on Instagram and the messages that we've been getting. We really appreciate it. So yeah, we hope to talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.
Peace out, y'all.
Later.